Live from Iona College, welcome to Sports Unfiltered on the radio. I'm your host, Jake Demisa.
I'm Matthew George.
And it is yet again another rainy night here at Iona. It seems like every single time we come on the show, it's been raining.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I hate it, but just like you gotta really go through it, man. My feet are wet. I don't know.
But we definitely have a great show planned for you guys today, and that starts with Game 7 of the World Series. And I'll be honest, I wanted to start this show today with the New York Islanders. I had every intention to do it, but going into last night, it was either you had to celebrate an Astro World Series win, or you had a massive Game 7. So obviously, the World Series had to lead off this show.
Yeah, definitely. And with the game, with the way the game happened yesterday, man, I just thought that the Astros had it. They were going into this game with such a big momentum, having 3 games now, a 3-game winning streak after losing the first 2 to Washington.
Yeah, well, let's backtrack for a minute. I mean, the Nationals obviously won the first 2 games. They went back to Washington. Everyone thought, oh, maybe they got this series. Maybe they'll beat the Astros. Every single game, 3, 4, and 5 was the exact same game. Nationals came out. They couldn't hit. The Astros pitched well. The Nationals pitchers didn't pitch well. And Game 5, the goal was to obviously start Max Scherzer for the Washington Nationals. We know what happened there.
Yep.
We'll talk a little bit about that later in this show. But the Nationals lost every game at home. And then everyone thought, oh, it's going to be Astros in 6. They come out last night. They get a big win because Steven Strasburg was on 8 1/3, only 2 runs, 7 strikeouts. And I think if the Nationals can win this series, unless something amazing happens tonight, Steven Strasburg is your World Series MVP.
Definitely. And with the way the pitching has been going for Justin Verlander, man, he's just not having a good postseason.
Well, Justin Verlander in general now is 0 for 7 in his World Series career.
Sheesh.
The guy just can't buy a win, whether with the Tigers, whether with the Astros the last time they won it. And now, of course, this year, he can't win the World Series.
No.
But tonight, all hands are going to be on deck. Astros and Nationals. It is Zach Greinke versus Max Scherzer, who, again, we'll talk about his arm injury a little later. But I want to backtrack to last night's game because that was a great game right till the end.
Mm-hmm.
It might look like 7-2 on paper, but for anyone who watched that game, you know it was a lot closer than it shows in the box score.
Yeah, but I think the pitching from Strasburg was the main key, as you said before. That and with the offense coming through within the first few innings for the Washington.
Well, you
Nationals.
had the Nationals come out early, get the 1-0 lead, and then the bottom of the first, Alex Bregman, big 2-run home run for the Astros, get that 2-1 lead. 5th inning hits, Adam Eaton ties it up with the homer. Juan Soto, who has had an amazing World Series, another homer there, makes it 3-2. And then we get to the top of the 7th, and things get very interesting in the top of the 7th because this could have changed the entire game. Yan Gomes sitting on first base. Trey Turner comes up. Trey Turner hits a small ground ball, not a lot of speed off the bat. Goes right to pitcher Brad Peacock. Peacock throws to first. It goes past the glove of Yuli Gurriel, and Trey Turner winds up at second. Yan Gomes winds up at third. But what happens after that? Umpires come out, and they call Trey Turner for base runner interference.
Yeah.
On a play where he was in the baseline the entire time.
The baseline on the time. Like,
the ball took Gurriel's glove into the base path. So where did you want Trey Turner to go?
I don't understand it either. And now he basically came out and complained and got ejected for it. Like, I don't understand that. He was on the baseline. I literally saw the play. I literally saw the replay of the play. It literally was he was running on the baseline. Like, what? How can you make that kind of a bad call?
And as you said, Dave Martinez came out. Dave Martinez got ejected for arguing, but Dave Martinez was right all along. Trey Turner called out. This could have changed the entire game. Luckily for the Washington Nationals later in the inning, Anthony Rendon hit a 2-run home run, made it 5-2, and the rest was history. But the fact of the matter is you can't make that bad of a call in the postseason in Game 6 of the World Series. And these umpires need to start being held accountable. I feel like in every single sport, refereeing and umpiring has been at an all-time low.
Oh, yeah.
And this is no different.
And especially, and I'm going to say this right now, I'm watching basketball. Every time they call so many bad calls, so many shooting fouls, and everything like that, the referees are just absolutely.
And of course, in football,
horrible.
Nobody knows what a pass interference is anymore. And even though they added where you could review a pass interference, the referees have too much pride. They never actually overturn a pass interference call.
Nope.
I think I've seen it once or twice all year where they've actually overturned it, and they challenge it all the time. So it's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But Trey Turner clearly should have been safe. I don't care what Kate Upton's saying on Twitter, especially since that's Justin Verlander's wife, but she got bashed for saying what she said.
Oh my god.
She said Trey Turner has to run in the baselines. You people don't know baseball. Well, Kate Upton, who gave you that information? Because A, he was in the baselines, and I can guarantee you don't know that either. Go defend your husband on your own time because your husband can't buy a win in the World Series.
Oh, man. Only a World Series win can actually uplift it, honestly, at this point. But yeah, still, I don't get it at this point. But now here comes Game 7 tonight with the battle to the end. Whoever's gonna take it is gonna take it in the World Series for this year. So
Yeah, but just to go back to Game 6 for a minute, Jose Altuve, literally the inning after that, ran more outside the base path than Trey Turner, and they didn't call anything.
that is true. Yeah,
Go watch the replays. Anybody listening right now, Jose Altuve was further from the line than Trey Turner. The glove took the ball into Trey Turner's base path. It's ridiculous.
They're giving the little guy a pass. No, that's completely stupid.
Not even go there. But Jose Altuve has actually done a great job in this series. I mean, I think he's gone 9 for 28 in this series. He's been incredible. But the guy I want to talk about is Yordan Alvarez, because Yordan Alvarez had been terrible in the ALCS against the Yankees. He wasn't very good against the Rays either, but he became the third youngest player to ever homer in a World Series this year. And that was actually behind Mantle and Jimmy Fox.
Wow.
And this year, he's 6 for 14, hitting 429 in the World Series. He didn't play one of those games against Corbin, I believe, but Yordan Alvarez had a good series, and you need that if you're the Astros, and that's a big reason why they won the 3 games on the road.
Mm-hmm. But then you can also come back to on the other side for the Nationals, as we mentioned before, Juan Soto just absolutely was just obliterating these past few games in the postseason. So if you put that in perspective, it's going to be a match between the two.
But tonight, we got to talk about Max Scherzer. As I said, he had the arm injury in Game 5. He couldn't pitch the game. He could barely even lift his arm that day. And now they're expecting him to come out into Game 7 and throw a good game. Yes, they have a lot of hands on deck because it's Game 7. They can pitch anybody tonight, probably besides Steven Strasburg. And if you need Strasburg for an out or two, I'm sure he's willing to come in the game in Game 7 of the World Series. But the fact of the matter is, what do you actually expect out of Max Scherzer tonight?
That's the only thing I would say. I don't even know if he's going to go into longevity. I mean, he had is in this World Series, he has 5 innings pitched and 7 strikeouts, but still, I want to give him the longevity for this game. I think you'd rather just stick with the bullpen and maybe another starter from the Nationals perspective.
Before I came onto the show today, I was actually watching Pardon the Interruption with Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Wilbon expected Scherzer to be able to go 7 or 8 innings today and get the Nationals to win.
Even with the injury?
Even with the injury. Tony Kornheiser, who is a Washington National fan growing up, still is today, said only 3 or 4 innings from Scherzer.
I agree with him with the 3
or
4 innings.
So what that tells me is really nobody knows what's going to happen with Max Scherzer tonight, including me. I can't predict that because I don't know how the guy's feeling. But what I do know is that he's going to give it his all. He's going to throw everything he has out there, because this could be his only chance to win a World Series in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially where they're at right now and how many upset and how the team really upset the National League. I think it only makes it right to make a statement to say, hey, we're ready to win and we're ready to beat one of the best teams, if not the best team in the AL and also in Major League Baseball this season.
Well, I have a question for you about Max Scherzer. If he really is hurt tonight and he has to throw injured, is winning a World Series, pitching in Game 7 of World Series, worth affecting the rest of your career?
I mean,
because look at Johan Santana. Johan Santana pitched a no-hitter against the St. Louis Cardinals probably 6 or 7 years ago. I was there, probably even longer, honestly. He threw over 120 pitches in that game,
right?
And he was never the same again because he had to push himself to get the first no-hitter in Met history.
But the problem is, that was during the season, though. You know what I mean?
But Max Scherzer now pitching Game 7 of the World Series, we don't know where his health is at. This could really affect his career if he goes long in this game.
Well, because see what happens here. Like if we're talking about like Johan Santana, that was during the season. But if you're talking about here right now, you're talking about one of the best pitchers in the National League. But in terms of this game, I say he should go full out because it's first of all, it's going to be the last game of the season, regardless of what happens tonight.
Well, I think he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Definitely,
he's already won a bunch of Cy Youngs. He's probably going to win a third one this year, unless DeGrom gets it. But I really think it's Max Scherzer again.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's worth risking my entire career going deep into this game. Yes, you have to win, but you have to be honest with Dave Martinez how long you can go.
But the problem is
you can't throw your whole career away just to win one game. I know it's Game 7 of the World Series, but you got here as a team. You didn't get here as Max Scherzer. Yes, he's your best gun. He's the best guy you could throw out there, but you gotta be wary of his health. You gotta go Corbin tonight. You gotta go Anibal Sanchez tonight, and you have to try to piece together a win because he's your ace, and he's your ace year after year.
Yeah, I understand that, but again, I agree with you with them, but I also have to disagree with because again, it's the only thing that everyone has in their mind. Also, you're doing it for the team, you're doing it for the fans, but the problem is that it's game. It's as you mentioned, it's Game 7 of the World Series. One of the most. It's the reason why you're playing baseball in the first place. Is basically what I'm saying. You know.
I mean, I could pretty much guarantee you, Max Scherzer is not going to ask to be pulled from this game because of health. There's no way. The game is too important. He's not going to be honest with Dave Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not going to happen. So Dave Martinez has to watch him like a hawk, and he has to see what he's getting out of Scherzer because you have to worry about the guy's health too.
Yeah, I understand that, but again, we'll see what happens tonight. Hopefully, hopefully goes. I predict he's going to go at least 3 innings. Give him 3 innings, and if he does well, maybe push him an inning or 2 more. But other than that, I wouldn't risk it too much. You know what I mean? Do you have anything on that? I mean, again, we don't know really about his health, but still, if you really want to expect somebody out of your gun to actually pitch, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I would let Scherzer give it his all for 2-3 innings, and then I would turn the ball over to Patrick Corbin and Anibal Sanchez because they both pitched well this postseason, even if they haven't been great in the World Series. You just got to see what you can get from other guys because it's not worth losing Max Scherzer for his entire career, even if you win a World Series. This is a national organization who's always been great to their players. They gave Scherzer the big contract when he wanted it. Mm-hmm. They're always wary of people's health. This is not going to change just because it's Game 7. I can guarantee you that. So Martinez will be watching Scherzer, and I say Scherzer goes 2, 3, at most 4 innings tonight.
Okay.
So let's go to the other side now. Zach Greinke on the mound. Zach Greinke hopefully worrying about baseball and not his Chipotle orders. I don't know if you saw that, but this is the first time 2 former Cy Young Award winners have faced off in a Game 7 of the World Series ever.
Wow.
And this also, just to add another fact out there, the first time a road team has won every game and a championship in any sport. NHL, MLB, and of course the NBA. First time ever the road teams won every game going into Game 7. So a lot of storylines tonight, but what do you think about Zach Greinke, and do you think he's going to crack under the pressure in a Game 7?
Oh, I mean, first of all, he's in his home ground in Houston. So I think it's going to build a lot of confidence for him. But the other thing is he's been pitching almost lights out in this postseason. So if you get a lot out of Greinke tonight and then let the bullpen handle it for the next 2 or 3 innings, then you're basically set for this World Series and another championship for them. If they can find if the Nationals can find a way to hit through him, good God help them. But still, I don't know. It's gonna be a very tough matchup, especially with one of the best pitchers in the AL.
Well, Zach Greinke was definitely lights out at Yankee Stadium in Game 4, I believe, of that series, if I'm not mistaken. But his starts in Houston during this series have not gone very well. He got beat up Game 1 against the Yankees. He got beat up against the Nationals, I believe, in Game 2. And I don't remember the Rays start, but based on his Houston starts, it probably wasn't that good. So the fact of the matter is, I like the Nationals tonight, even with Max Scherzer not healthy, because I like having those guns in Anibal Sanchez and Patrick Corbin ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do think Strasburg could pitch an inning if he had to. It's Game 7. You got to throw everything out there.
Absolutely.
If Scherzer's willing to go with an arm injury, Strasburg can throw an inning even after 8 yesterday.
Actually, because that's the only thing that they have in their minds. All these players want is to win this World Series this year. That's all they have in their minds at this point.
Let's talk about the bullpen for the Astros tonight, because obviously you have all your normal guys, but you also have Jose Urquidy, who pitched Game 4, who was lights out. He was incredible the time he was in there. Mm-hmm. And Garrett Cole. Having Garrett Cole is a major weapon tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he's going to have. He also hasn't pitched in the bullpen since he was a freshman in college.
Wow.
He actually blew a game against UC Irvine when he was a freshman in college coming out of the bullpen. He never did it again. Became a starter after that. And that's got to be 9 years ago at least, maybe more?
Probably.
So the guy is not going to be ready to come out of the bullpen. He doesn't really know what it's like to warm up and come into a game. But we see this every year with starters coming in a bullpen in the World Series. And we really don't know what you're going to get out of a guy on short rest like that.
I just really hate that. I get it's Game 7, but I really hate the fact that you really have to put your starters into the bullpen rotations, because it's going to be so out of whack. In terms of okay, I'm shifting now into the bullpen now, coming into pitch to strike out lights out and not giving up any runs. That puts a lot. First of all, that puts a lot of pressure on yourself, because now you're coming in a reliever situation. That, and also you're only going for a short amount of time. So I don't know, even the longevity of you being out there is only going to determine how the game goes and how the starting pitcher goes, and then how the game's going to progressing. You know?
In winner take all games in World Series history, the home team is 19-20. So it doesn't really matter who's home. So you keep bringing up the fact that, yes, they're in Houston tonight. It doesn't matter. This is anybody's game tonight. And we're going to do predictions in a minute, but I'm going to give you an X factor from both teams. First X factor for Houston, I think, is Carlos Correa. I mean, Carlos Correa obviously hit the massive home run in Game 2 against the Yankees. It was a walk-off home run. It really got them going in the series. But he's been 4 for 23 in the World Series.
Yikes.
And he's only hitting 172 in the entire postseason now. It's not like he had a good series against the Yankees. He had a good moment, and he had a good Game 6. But he hasn't been good overall. You need Carlos Correa to give you something if you want to win this game tonight, if you're the Houston Astros. And for the Nationals, the X factor, it's going to be the guy I somehow have brought up every single week on the radio, and Anibal Sanchez. Anibal Sanchez, back in the Dodgers series, I told you I didn't trust him. Then it got to the Braves series, I told you I didn't trust him. And then it got to the World Series, and I told you I trusted him. I told you I was behind him, and he didn't pitch very well. You need Anibal Sanchez to come out tonight if Scherzer can't go long, and he needs to pitch well if you're going to win this game. So, Matt, who do you think wins the World Series tonight?
I mean, the way it is right now, I say Washington has a lot of momentum coming in this game. I'm going Washington, especially with the way yesterday turned out, because you can't. I mean, I get it's just for Justin Verlander yesterday, and he didn't really have a good game. But if you can get around Zach Greinke, and Soto, Turner, and Eaton come out tonight, I think it's going to be game over. I think I'm set in stone with that, with a final score, with a bit of final score be 4-2.
This puts me in a tough spot tonight, because I started the year on the radio saying the Houston Astros would win the World Series. I said they were going to beat either the Mets or the Phillies. Little did I know it'd be a team in the division that wasn't one of those teams, the Washington Nationals. But I also said last week that the Nationals were winning 6 games. And quite frankly, if Max Scherzer pitched Game 5, I think they would have won 6 games. So it's a very tough game to pick tonight. I think it's the hardest baseball game to call since Indians-Cubs Game 7.
That is true, yeah.
But I'm actually going to stick with the Washington Nationals.
Okay.
I like having those guns ready after Max Scherzer has to leave this game. And I just don't trust Garrett Cole coming out of the bullpen when he hasn't done it in so long.
Exactly.
Corbin has been coming out of the bullpen. Anibal Sanchez was in the bullpen during the regular season at times. So if you have experienced guys in the bullpen like that, they know how to warm up. They know when they're ready. Garrett Cole might not be able to just come into a game and beat Garrett Cole. And I think if they lose this game tonight, the Astros, it's going to be because Garrett Cole gives up runs.
Yeah. I mean, because the only and also with the Houston Astros, they did use 4 relievers yesterday, and then with Justin Verlander being in the starting rotation,
I'm gonna have the Nationals winning this, and I'm gonna have your World Series MVP being Steven Strasburg again, unless someone goes off tonight hitting. They hit a grand slam, they hit a walk off. That's the only thing that could change my mind, because Steven Strasburg's already won 2 games in this postseason in this World Series. He's been incredible.
I mean, the only person that I would honestly give it to besides Strasburg is probably Soto also, because he's been really been the power hitter for this team. Other than that, I don't even know who else is probably maybe Mark Eaton, maybe, but that's all I'm going to say. It's either one of those two, but I think I agree with you on that one, being Steven Strasburg getting the MVP as well.
All right, we're going to go to break right now. I said we're going to talk about Islanders. We're going to end the show with the Islanders just based on time. But when we get back, we're going to talk about the New York Jets, the trades they made, the trades they didn't make, and quite frankly, the travesty that is becoming Sam Darnold. So we'll be back. You are listening to Sports Unfiltered live on WICR, the voice of Iona College.